The Atlantic and Pacific Oceans are the two largest oceans in the world. Together they cover half of the Earth's surface. But at the point where these two meet, the southernmost tip of the end of South America called Cape Horn, a very strange phenomenon occurs. The waters of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans refuse to mix. What is even more spectacular is that a clear distinction can be made between the two bodies of water as the lighter Atlantic waters stand next to the darker Pacific waters. This boundary between the two oceans continues for up to 800 kilometers in what is known as the Drake Passage. This stunning phenomenon, where water bodies refuse to mix, was first discovered by Jacques Cousteau when he went deep diving in the Strait of Gibraltar. This strange sight has left many onlookers quite baffled, with some ascribing the strange occurrence to some divine act. But of course they can be simply explained by basic science. So why don't the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans mix? To unravel this, we must look closely at the chemical and physical makeup of the two water bodies. The water of the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans have two different densities, and this is what forms a barrier between them, making it difficult for them to mix. Merely looking at the two water bodies, a difference in color can be clearly observed, indicating a difference in the chemical makeup of both water bodies. This is the second most important factor responsible for this strange phenomenon. To get a better understanding of why water bodies will refuse to mix, we need to look at a feature called oceanclines. Oceanclines are the borders that exist between two bodies of water due to a difference in the physical and biological characteristics of the water. One of the most spectacular types of oceancline is called haloclines. When two bodies of water with significantly different salinities come together, a halocline is formed as the bodies of water refuse to mix. Another form of oceancline is called a thermocline. As you might have guessed from its name, a thermocline occurs when water bodies with different temperatures come in contact with each other. They will both refuse to mix. A good example of this is the thermocline between the warm water of the Gulf Stream and the much colder water of the North Atlantic Ocean. Thermoclines are really fun because you can easily recreate them in your kitchen using hot and cold water. If you place hot and cold water in a bowl and place your hand inside the bowl, you will clearly feel a distinction between the region where the hot water is and the region where the cold water is. The difference in temperature also affects the density of the water. If you can take your mind back to science class for a moment, you'll remember that as water gets hotter, it expands and reduces in volume. And because density is inversely proportional to volume, as water expands and the volume increases, the density reduces. Cold water will therefore always be heavier than hot water. And in a bath filled with both hot and cold water, you can expect the cold water to settle at the bottom, with the hot water rising to the top. Interestingly, however, this doesn't happen in thermoclines, but more on that later. A third form of oceanclines is called chemoclines. Chemoclines occur when water bodies with different microclimate and chemical makeups come in contact with each other. A very striking occurrence of a chemocline occurs in the Sargasso Sea. This is the biggest and most popular chemocline in the world. The Sargasso Sea is found within the Atlantic Ocean, yet it is without any shores. Thanks to its very different light blue color, the map of the Sargasso Sea can be easily spotted in the midst of the Atlantic Ocean. The waters of the Sargasso Sea do not mix with the Atlantic Ocean because of the chemical differences between them.